And so, hello guys, and welcome again. We're back here for another deck tech kind of an upgrade for a previous archetype. Now that the Magic the Gathering Spider-Man set is finally out and will be having a pre-release weekend. And so far, the new set looks promising as it kind of trying to improve the standard metagame. And so, what I'm referring to is a previous archetype because of this specific kind of built around card. We call this as the Ketramose, the New Dawn. So its ability that one or more cards are exiled from graveyards and or battlefield during turn, you will draw a card and lose one life. So the deck has kind of maybe became a tier 2 or tier 3 in the recent results for the standard format. And with the new set, let's take a look at how its current new build would look like. So we're breaking down the card types. We have 2 artifacts, 9 creatures, 6 enchantments, 6 instants, 25 lands, and 1 single Planeswalker, Ugin, Eye of the Storms. So let's take a look at the card choices. We're starting off here with the specific artifact. So basically, this new card, Peter Parker's Camera, goes well with having this benefit by having this ability that can copy activated or triggered ability and may choose new targets for the copy. So at any time ETB effects trigger effects from Ketramose, you get to copy it for an extra 2 mana and tapping this artifact. So it's more of a utility creature per se, and it goes well with this kind of build because of various instances of having this triggered and activated abilities. And one of which that goes well also is Perilous Snare, because it's also another triggered ability as it enters. Exile target non-permanent upon controls and get also a max speed effect. Once you get to max speed, you can pump a creature or vehicle you control and having only to activate as a sorcery. So it goes well with this one. It is an extra removal, particularly also exile effects that triggers Ketramose's ability. So looking at the lineup for this deck, we have of course a 4 copy of the creatures of Ketramose, the New Dawn. Just a given build for this one. We have also considered 3 copies of Voices to Victory. So not only does this protect you from counter spells, but also get you mobilize 2 that are potential attacker. Once you get to control your board, particularly you have a pressure of every turn that can attack for some chunks of damage. And this also goes well with another card trigger, which I will explain in a bit. So the one I've chosen here was from the new cards for the first Spider-Man set. We have Symbiote Spider-Man. It's a 3 mana cost 2/4 that has this ability that whenever this deals combat damage, you look at that many cards from the top of your library and then put one of them in your hand and then the rest into your graveyard. So this effect goes well to get you some card advantage like semi-draw effects, and also you can have this ability that find you host. You can exile this card from your graveyard to put up a +1 counter on target creature you control and gains this card's other abilities. So make sure you get to pump, for example, your Ketramose with its ability to get it +1 counter, and to also have this ability to draw or look at many cards whenever it deals damage and then put it in your hand and the rest of your graveyard. So more again about utility creature. We also have the Spot Living Portal. This is a mana cost 4/4 human scientist villain, but this ability also goes with Ketramose exile trigger. When it enters, exile to 1 target non-permanent and to 1 target non-permanent card from a graveyard. This effect also goes, but when Spot dies, you can put him on the top of this owner's library, and then if you do, return the exiled cards to their owner's hands. So in a way, it's kind of a drawback, but nevertheless, you need to also to have kind of a late game 4/4 body here that can exile non-land permanents. At the same time, if you have Ketramose in play, again, it will trigger Ketramose's ability to draw a card and lose 1 life. For the enchantments, we have of course Simrip as a 1 mana cost. That can deal with extra early assault or board setup for your opponent. For example, they have a few 1 mana cost or 2 mana cost creatures. You can then use Simrip to exile them. Also again goes with ability of Ketramose, and that it is also supported by Nowhere to Run. Why I've considered only one copy here? It's also a spot removal per se, but what's more important is that you can have your creatures your opponent controls lose their hexproof and ward triggers. So this is also important since you're a control creature. You have several spot removals and maybe some specific removal effects. So having the troublesome Snake Skin Veil would disregard them for that kind of setting and scenario. And we also have the new card, Death of Gwen Stacy. This is for basically a 3 mana cost saga removal, but you can also have this ability that other benefits wherein you can have a player discard a card. If they don't discard a card, they will lose their life. And then you can also exile any number of graveyards for the players. So again, triggering Ketramose and also dealing with you're having basically a main deck graveyard shenanigans counter for those kind of deck strategies. And also consider this one, Sotera, because this card has this ability that whenever control dies, its opponent chooses a creature they control and exile it. So we have basically a Voice of Victory trigger because mobilizing these tokens would have you to have extra creatures, and then at the end of your turn they would basically be sacrificed. So this would also trigger Sotera, therefore triggering removal effects to your opponent's creatures. So just a one of basically, so that any given scenario you might not need it early on, but going in the late game you can have this option also of legendary enchantment creature removal effects in your board. Now we go for the instants. We have several exile effects also. This goes this one with Expert Smite to deal with the one early assault. Particularly you can see mono red for this one. You can deal 3 damage to attacking or blocking creature, then it would if it would die, exile it instead. We have 2 Rider's End that can exile creature or vehicle and cost 3 less if you get to target a top creature or a top permanent. 2 copies of the End. So basically it goes to exile a creature, planeswalker, and then searching multiple copies of it, and those will be permanently exiled from the deck or graveyard. And 1 copy of Cease and Desist. This is also just a utility card per se. You can exile cards from a graveyard and you will gain 2 life and draw a card, or you can go with destroying all artifacts and enchantments. In any scenario you would need those, then you still have a main deck answer to those kind of setup from your opponent. Before we go with the lands, let's take a look at why I've chosen Ugin as the only card for the planeswalker, because when you hardcast this, you can exile up to 1 target permanent. That's 1 more colors, therefore also triggers Ketramose. You get also the utility of you gain 3 life and draw a card, but casting colorless spell, which this deck has not really utilized, but still you get to have constant card draw each turn, and then you might not need this ultimate -11 ability, but having this one to have an extra card draw is really also important, especially for a control deck setup. Now for the board wipes, of course, this is composed for the sorcery with the variants of these board wipes, including the Judgment, the Cover Up, which can also be upgraded for Evidence 6 to exile cards from a graveyard, basically exiling copies of those cards, not particularly lands, but also get to answer some specific, for example, counter spells in control mirror matches. We have also Ultima, which gets to destroy artifacts also and end the turn, particularly not triggering the die effects. And of course, this pseudo spot removal that exiles graveyard again because of this effect of strategic betrayal, exiling creature they control and their graveyard. So particularly we have 4 copies of this, so make sure that you can still draw this after casting a Ketramose and then benefit from its ability of trigger for drawing a card and lose 1 life. This also goes with not particularly exiling a card from their hand, but this is specific for matchups such as that of the VV Cauldron decks, because you get to answer artifacts even before they play it on the second turn. This is also important. In that given scenario, you might need to just cycle it, so you just pay 3 to discard this and draw a card for this deck. So that particularly is your sorcery, and finally your land based is pretty much suited for black and white because we have many fixes for this, including the reprint of Godless Shrine, which is now in the Edge of the Eternity set. So we have again Richmond Words, Concealed Courtyard, and Shadowy Backstreet to help also fine tune up your draws with the Surveil. And most likely the utility cards in the form of the Great Russian City, which can change exile creature cards to create a 1/1 spirit token, and therefore also exiling card from graveyard is a trigger for Ketramose. Fountain Port also, which gets you to sacrifice tokens to draw a card or create this fish token or create a treasure token. Basically, token from your Voices of Victory can be used to get you extra cards. Domination Field, particularly to answer manlands and opposing Fountain Ports from your opponent, and any other land shenanigans from them, and of course basic lands and swamp and plains to sum up the 25 land count for this deck. Now finally, let's take a look at the deck stats. Particularly, production is pretty much even for this. We don't mind this green and blue because of the splashy colors there, because of the hybrid colors. Particularly, we have enough composition of both black and white colors to do the mana fix. Average mana value is surprisingly 3, but you still get to see this late game 5 mana cost, 7 mana cost spells, particularly this one. So you need to also have be able to play enough lands so that you can do some double casting of these cards, particularly also having to satisfy Ketramose's ability, which can later on he can go into this ability if you have already 7 or more cards in exile that he can attack or block. So your main threat will be online at the time. And let's take a look at the tokens. We have 4 tokens here. The fish token from the Fountain Port, spirit token from the Russian land, treasure of course also produced by the Fountain Port, and warrior token by the Voice of Victory. So that's pretty much it for this deck. I think this some of these compositions is already enough for this deck build to be that specific, and that it's not likely that we can say that it will be instantly become a tier 1 deck once the Spider-Man set is now legal to play, but we're still hopeful that this kind of build will see some instances in the gameplay of this format once the standard format with Spider-Man will now be ready to play in both offline and online platforms. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is again your Spider-Man, also Ketramose standard deck tech. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We still have more of this deck upgrade, decks checking, and deck tech particularly in the coming days, and notifications on please, so that we can have instance will be the first one to be notified once a new video upload is up. Again guys, thank you for watching, and see you on the next video upload.